Good afternoon. I'm Marva Richardson once again. We were on not too long ago, Mr. Richard, this morning, and I'd like to say, first of all, Happy Mother's Day. And I would also like to thank LAPA, Mr. and Mrs. Cherry Congo, for allowing us to come on for today to continue to, with the support of Jay Caldwell and our event, which is May 25th from 6 to 10 p.m. I'm nervous because I've got a guest here that's kind of taking my breath. That's Mr. Harmon Carey. I'm honored to have him. I look at him and watch him, and I'm just so enthused with this man and the way he brings out, the topics, and he makes you understand. He breaks it down to make you understand thoroughly what the subjects are. And today you'll see what I mean. For those of you who haven't saw him, but many who have, he'll continue to do just the same thing today. I'm not going to hold this train. Mr. Harmon Carey, Mr. Linwood Jackson, this is the conductor, the chief, and the engineer of the train for Jay Caldwell and the event.
Well, we give honor to God, who's the head of our life. We're happy and excited to be back here again. And Marva keeps dropping that weight on me, but she's the visionary. She's the one who came up with this idea, and she threw the ball out there, and I just happened to be out in the field to catch the ball. And when I caught the ball outside, I would run with it, and I asked some co-workers, people that I know, would you come and help me out? We want to put this thing together. We want to honor a man that God has truly blessed, has anointed down through the years, who have been blessed to sing all over the world, but yet his humbleness, he's just so humble, he's anointed, he loves God, and he has a tremendous sense of humor. But see, now we're going to turn the tricks on him. As far as I know, it's never been done before, a gospel roast. You hear the celebrities roast, that's wherever you can select celebrities. Well, Jay Caldwell is a celebrity in our community. Not only in our community, he is a gospel legend. If you don't believe it, go to New York, go to Chicago, go to North Carolina, South Carolina. You know what I mean? The name of Jay Caldwell is very prominent in all those areas there. But Jay Caldwell is still humble to God, and this is the thing that we like about it. And I'm glad that Marva came up with this idea to do something to honor this man. Most of the time we don't honor our own right here at home. They're always recognized outside of our city. And people have been calling me outside of the state of Delaware. I've been getting calls from North Carolina, Maryland, Pennsylvania, and Jersey, wanting tickets to come to this tremendous event. And we thank God for Jay. We thank God for LAPA, Sammy Congo, Miss Ruth Baker, Josie Roy, for allowing us to come in for the 9 o'clock hour. Not for just a portion of the hour, but for the whole hour. That shows you how much, first of all, Jay is respected, and also Mr. Marva Richardson, because Cherry Congo called Marva, and I think that is an honor in itself. So we're happy to be here. We're happy to have my friend, I'm going to call him my friend. My friend, Mr. Harmon Carey, we sat and we had a tremendous conversation and talked about some things that, we want to implement, and he's going to talk to you about the Black Heritage Foundation, things that we need to put out in our community more, because, we're too silent on things that, is very important to the community. So we're happy to have him and Mr. Jackson, like always. We'll have some great information to bring to you, and we'll talk about Jay. You know about Jay. If you don't be there, you're going to miss it, because that's going to be the talk of the town. That is the event of the town coming up. But Marva, if it's okay with you, I want to go to Mr. Carey himself, the legend.
I don't mean to cut you down, but I see that urge in his. He loves Mr. Carey. This man loves you.
Oh, good.
And I'm going to go according to the way we're going to bring you on right now. But if you want to interact, if Mr. Richard will allow you to ask questions, because he loves you, this man. So we're going to go according to. Go ahead, Mr. Richard.
Well, since that I done been interrupted.
I'm sorry.
As I was getting ready to say, and Mr.
God.
Jackson, you can do what you do best,
Alrighty.
with your interview. But it is a pleasure. I'm saying this with all sincerity. I haven't had the opportunity, to be in Mr. Carey's presence like this here, and I really consider this here an honor and a pleasure to introduce to those who don't know him, the man, Mr. Harmon Carey.
Well, thank you so much, George, and thank you, Marva, for inviting me. George, Marva did say that you were the conductor.
Right.
But what she didn't say was that she's the engineer.
Yeah.
So you're still not quite in charge. You're over me and Mr. Jackson.
But
she over you.
I told her that from the beginning. She keeps trying to say that I'm in charge. But I told her who's in charge. We know who's in charge.
Okay.
Look, she's the quarterback. I'm the one that's catching it. She's throwing the ball. I'm just catching it.
All right, now. I want to join Marva in wishing a happy Mother's Day to all of the mothers and grandmothers and godmothers and all of those neighborhood mothers who are looking on. I am one who appears about monthly and on a show which is called Freedom's Journey. We come on the fourth Sunday of the month at 9 o'clock in the morning. So maybe some of your viewers who are looking on this afternoon are late sleepers and don't have a chance to see me when I host my own show. So I just feel especially grateful to have this opportunity to talk to you about a very important issue. In fact, whenever I have an opportunity to talk about this issue, I do so. And it was Reverend Greer who, some years ago, he was pastoring at Easy in Mount Carmel, and I was at a special awards dinner that was sponsored by the A. Philip Randolph Institute. And we were at the head table, and I was there to say a few words about A. Philip Randolph, and I wrote him a note, and I said, should I also bring up the Heritage Center? And he wrote a note back to me, and it's been a guiding principle for me ever since then. He said, whenever you get a chance to talk publicly about the Heritage Center, do so. So in keeping with that edict, I'm glad to be here and I'm glad to talk about it. What I don't know, though, Marva, is how much time we have. I don't know whether I should go back 27 years when the Afro-American Historical Society was first founded and we first included in our dreams, in our objectives, trying to establish an African-American Heritage Center or museum. That was in 1985, 86. I don't know whether I should go back 17 years to when I met with the Vice President of MBNA, Lance Weaver, and asked would his company buy the L.I. Kidd building so that it could be developed as an African American Heritage Center? Or should I just go back 17 months when then Mayor Baker did the unconscionable, as far as I'm concerned, and I speak just for Harmon Carey because I know there are other views about this, but when he awarded the $1 million to the Historical Society of Delaware to establish and operate an African American Heritage Center. So Marva, I don't know whether to go back 27 years, 17 years, or 17 months. I'll do whatever you say.
I'm going to tell you what I feel. You take it from your heart. And that's the way we deal with this program. Because as I said before, this man loves you and this man loves you, and they may, in us talking, they might want to interact with you to ask questions and go back and forth. Is that all right with you, Mr. Witcher? No, he is a conductor engineer in chief. Don't you dare. But anyhow, go ahead, Mr. Witcher.
But I agree with Marva.
Yeah. Follow your heart.
You know exactly, the talking points that you want to get over to the community. So just go ahead and follow your heart.
Well, I think that old folks have a saying, and I'm a great one for old sayings. It says, tell the truth and shame the devil. There is a great deal of misinformation out in the community about the LI Kid building. And maybe I should kind of use that as a launch pad rather than coming to this strictly from an historical or chronological perspective. MBNA donated $295,000 to the city of Wilmington in 1996 to purchase the LI Kid building. Now, I have heard it said, it's circulated, it's throughout this community, that Harmon Carey and the Afro-American Historical Society own the LI Kid building. So the first thing I want to make perfectly clear is, though we were an advocate for the having that building purchased by MBNA, MBNA donated the money to the city of Wilmington. Harmon Carey has never owned the LI Kid building. The Afro-American Historical Society has never owned it. It's come up in this connection, Marvin, George, and Linwood. It's sort of like, well, since you've owned it all these years, why haven't you done something with it? Well, we haven't owned it. And trust me, it's hard enough to raise money for something that you own. But when you try to raise money for something that you don't own, people look at you like you're, like you're a little whacked or something like that. So we're hopeful that under the Mayor Williams administration, that we will have an opportunity to develop this Heritage Center or Institute, whatever we call it, because we believe that whereas under Mayor Baker, we were under a setting sun, under Mayor Williams, we're under a rising sun. And I called the decision unconscionable. You know, back in September, I was invited to speak at the National Conference of the Association for the Study of African American Life and History. This is the organization that was founded by Carter G. Woodson, who was also the one who established Black History Week, or Negro History Week, which has evolved now into Black History Month. They're the largest, most well-respected historical, African-American historical organization in the world. And when they heard what this mayor, our former mayor, had done in terms of awarding a contract and a donation to a white historical society to operate a Black Heritage Center, the executive director invited me to come to speak to their organization. And they were absolutely dumbfounded when I told them what had happened here in Wilmington. You know, Delaware prides itself on being the first state what that means is that we were the first state to ratify the Constitution. But Wilmington is the first city. We're the first city, the first municipality in the country to have an African American mayor who selected I hate to use a term, I said I like to use terms old folks use, right?
Right.
Lily White.
You're doing fine.
Lily White organization to establish a Black Heritage Center. Never, ever has it been done. So we're the first to do it, and that's a first about which I'm certainly not proud, and I don't think anyone who's fair-minded and who believes as we do that we have a sacred trust to preserve our history and to teach it to our young people. I don't think any of us who believe those things will feel any other way, but this was just a terrible, terrible thing to do. And I want to say to you or who are looking on that if you've heard some rumors that Mayor Sills, who is the chairman of our board of directors, that we have tucked our tails between our legs and that we're running and we're going to hide and we're going to accept this because the mayor did it. We do not accept it. We are not going to accept it. We will never accept it. Now, there are certain powers that a mayor has. We respect that. Constitutionally, there are certain things that Mayor Sills, Mayor Baker, and now Mayor Williams can do, but no mayor is above the law. Baker is not above the law. We are convinced that he has violated the law in the way he has handled this entire situation, and we are going to go to court if necessary to get this turned around. Now, when I say he's violated the law, can I give just a couple examples of the main things? I won't get into some of the things that get very, very technical, but the main things are these. The mayor cannot select an organization to do something. In this instance, go to an organization and in effect offer them a contract and then put out an RFP, request for a proposal, telling the community that anyone who's interested and who meets the guidelines can apply. Not when you've already gone out and you've offered it to another group. Now, had he wanted that group to have it, he didn't have to put out the RFP, because the RFP then becomes a sham, and that's what it was. The decision had already been made. We don't believe that that's legal, and we think that if it appears before a judge in Chancery, which is potentially where it's headed, he's going to side with us. But suppose he doesn't side with us. There are certain laws that require meetings to be open to the public. It's called the Freedom of Information Act. And under one of the provisions of the Freedom of Information Act, meetings by the mayor are open to the public unless they involve personnel matters, salary and disciplinary action for staff. We had a meeting with one of the mayor's committees to present our proposal, we being the African American Heritage Center. That's the name of our board that's headed by Jim Sills, okay? We met with this, what do they call it? It was a committee to review the proposals that the mayor put out, solicited through this bogus request for proposals. I hope you all are getting what I am saying. I know what I'm trying to say, but if I'm messing it up, just bear with me. We had a meeting in November where we presented our proposal, our ideas to the mayor's special committee. Well, one of the individuals who came into our meeting was a person who was affiliated with and supportive of the Historical Society of Delaware. The chairman of that advisory committee or review committee, that's what it was called, review committee, Peter Biesecker, who was then the director of planning for the city of Wilmington, allowed this individual to come in even though he clearly was not with us. We didn't oppose it because we thought that the meetings were open, or we would have said something about it perhaps. So they allowed him to sit in on our meeting. That afternoon, the afternoon of the same day, we met at 10 o'clock. At 1 or 2 o'clock, the Historical Society of Delaware had their opportunity to present their proposal to this review team. Well, some of our supporters went to that meeting. When they got to the door, they were told that the meeting was closed, that they could not come in. Now, how can our meeting be open and their session be closed? George, come on, you're not a lawyer and I'm not one, but
No.
that make any sense to
No,
you?
that doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Now, either they both are open or they're both closed.
Right.
But one can't be open and one can't be closed.
No.
So that's one of the issues. The second issue has to do with the decision of City Council to transfer funds from the Allied Kid Project, $900 and some odd thousand to the Hicks Anderson Community Center. A center that is needed, it provides important services to the community, and it's certainly a facility that should and deserves the support of council. But that support should not come at the expense of the money that had been put aside for the Allied Kid Building. The act that we claim we feel has been violated, the Freedom of Information Act, and I don't have it in front of me, but young people can go online and get it. There's a section that says that public meetings have to be posted at the site where the meetings are held. One of the meetings that was necessary in order for the city to transfer this money was a meeting of the Planning Commission. When the Planning Commission met, they should have posted the meeting so that those in the general public could know about the meeting and attend if they chose to do so. They posted the meeting. They posted the meeting, Linwood, but they posted it behind 2 metal strips so that you couldn't read it. You couldn't read the posting. Our position is that if you can't read it, then the net effect is you haven't posted it.
Right.
Okay? Again, we're not lawyers, but just common sense.
Yes,
If you were promoting, for example, you're promoting the gospel roast for J. Caldwell.
Right.
Well, if you wanted to post it on the bulletin board in the public building, in the Reading building, would you go and post it behind something so that nobody could read it? That makes absolutely no sense.
Pretty tricky.
That's what they did. And we made a complaint to the Attorney General's office, and Bo Biden, who got yeoman support from the black community during the election, weren't for us, he would not be Attorney General. His staff said that even though they did that, the fact that they put it on television meant that it was okay. Now, we wrote back to the Attorney General's office and we asked them simply this: if the law provides for an exception, it gives you the choice. You can either post it or put it on television. Tell us what section of the law gives you the authority to make the decision that the posting requirement can be met by not posting, but by putting it on television, knowing full well everybody doesn't have a television set or everybody doesn't have access to television. We asked them to tell us what the exception was. They never responded. We're going to go back and have that issue reviewed.
So it sounds like you got your hands pretty full there, Mr. Carey.
Well, we are going to do what we think is the right thing, and we're going to stand up for what is right, and we just want the community to know that we are not backing down, not 1 inch. And we hope that we can move forward with your support, with your blessings, with your prayers. And if you want to find out something you can do to help us, please give me a call. My number's in the phone book, and you should have no trouble reaching me.
Right, that's very interesting, because what you're raising is very important for our community. Educating, I believe your ultimate goal is educating our children.
Absolutely.
And their history of where they came from, so that they know where they're going. And we talk about that all the time, educating our children. Right now they have just talk about court battles. We're having a battle with the Christina School District, charged with discriminating against our kids in regards to the disciplinary actions and kicking them out. We have a 60% high school dropout rate in the city of Wilmington. So that's very important, the project that you're working on. And Marva's right. I do appreciate and respect Mr. Harmon Carey and the work that you've done over the years with regards to our community. You certainly are a force to be reckoned with. And I do have a lot of questions, not a lot, but a couple in regards to African American Historical Society, which you're working on. But first, I do want to give a shout out to the mothers out there. Today is Mother's Day, and we want to give thanks to the good Lord for blessing us with beautiful mothers. We know mothers are our first teachers, and they raise us. And I just want to, my mother passed away a few years ago, and I just want to say that to this day, I can never repay what she has done for me. And I am truly blessed to have had her as a mother. Thank you, I miss you, I love you, Evelyn Louise Jackson, my mother. And I know Marva's a mother of a few children as well. And so we want to give thanks to you too as well.
I'd like to say something. I'm not going to interrupt you, I'm sorry. But I wanted us to take a short break, and I want to get back to Mr. Carey. You asked the questions. But a lot of people don't know that you lost your sister.
Oh.
And he's kind of, we talked about it, and I just want to let you know how we feel. Sometimes words are just inadequate at times like this, but we just want you to know that we're there for you, whatever we can do, and I understand the service is tomorrow, am I correct? And we just want you to feel free. He was a little, but just know that we're there. I had to say that, Mr. Jackson.
Thank you, Marva. Actually, she was my cousin, but she was like a sister to me. We were raised all our life together, and she was a big advocate in education as well, attending Delaware Tech Community College, Wilmington, University of Delaware, Delaware State University, getting her degree in Springfield, Massachusetts. So as advocates of education, she was a big one, and the funeral is tomorrow, Congo Funeral Home. 10 o'clock services for viewing, and we'll be tied up there handling that. We're staying strong and trying to handle our business on that end. But I thank you, everybody, for their prayers and their condolences, and my family definitely appreciates that. Did you want to take a break?
Yeah, we're going to take a very short break because this is real interesting. So we're a very short break, and we're going to come right back. Please stay tuned.
I got two men following me.
You are invited to a Gospel Road and birthday celebration for gospel legend J. Caldwell, Saturday, May 25th, 6 to 10 p.m. at the Sammy Congo Social Hall, located at the Eastern Fair Baptist Church, 1400 B Street in Wilmington, Delaware. Dr. Christopher Carey is the pastor. Music by the mighty men of the Canaan Baptist Church, Dr. Christopher Allen Bullock, pastor. Also the Gospel Ambassador. Now it's only $20, which includes a full-course catered meal by needs. For tickets and information, call Marva Richardson Moore at 302-261-6107. To reserve a table of 8 or sponsor tickets for seniors, call yours truly, George Witcher, at 302-762-3249.
I got two men following me. I got two people following me. I got two people following me. The reason why they follow me, I don't know. It's just grace and mercy, and they follow me wherever I go. Why? Because we'll have brand new bodies. And I thought about that the other day, Reverend. And I thought about the fact that we might have a little